Ho ho ho, I'm Old Norse Specialist Dr. Jackson Crawford. And as this long year creeps toward its inevitable conclusion, my thoughts turn to a common misconception that connects Christmas with Norse mythology. A meme that circulates all around the internet with surprising popularity and recurring shareability that Odin is Santa Claus. I do not know where this idea originally comes from, but it seems like every year around this time it starts spreading around the internet like wildfire again. And I just want to share with you a couple of good reasons for thinking that Odin is not, in fact, Santa Claus. One of the strangest arguments for the notion that Odin is the progenitor for Santa Claus is that Santa Claus has 8 reindeer and Odin's horse, Sleipnir, has 8 legs. Leaving aside the fact that 8 legs does not mean 8 reindeer, that a horse is not a reindeer, and that you can get the number 8 from any number of other places, there's no reason to think that the 8 reindeer of Santa Claus are a particularly old phenomenon, right? The figure of Santa Claus is a pretty new thing, culturally speaking. We're looking at something that really only kind of comes to cultural prominence in the 19th century. Now, I'm not going to sit here and give you a lecture about the origins of the Santa Claus figure, because to do so, I would be relying on a lot of second and third party information that would then sort of violate my own principle, which is to only give you information that I can source well. But I can say pretty confidently that the 8 reindeer of Santa Claus are a fairly modern phenomenon, and that when they originated, there was no intent of making Dasher and Donner anything to do with Odin's horse Sleipnir. Another thing that's just strange is this notion that I've seen in some of these online listicles claiming Odin is Santa Claus, that Odin wears red. In fact, in the Old Norse sources where he shows up, for example in the saga of the Volsungs, where we have several descriptions of Odin's appearance, he does not wear red. He wears prominently blue. Now there are those who will tell me that what that really means is black, but what that really means is blue, as I'll explain in a video that I'll link in a card in the top right for those of you watching this in 2020 on YouTube. So he wears blue. He wears a spotted cloak in Volsung's Hall in the saga of the Volsungs, and he's also strongly associated with the color gray often. And then in Grimnismal he also wears blue. So Odin wears blue, gray, or spotted clothes, not red clothes, which directly undercuts this claim that he wears red and therefore somehow inspired Santa Claus. Odin is also not a figure associated with gift giving, certainly not the kind of kind and selfless and friendly gift giving that Santa Claus participates in. Odin gives gifts to men, for example in the saga of the Volsungs, but those are always gifts to men that he is later going to directly harvest or kill for his army in Valhall or Valhalla. We have to remember that Odin is in constant anxiety about the coming final battle, at which his enemies, such as Fenrir the wolf, will kill him and the rest of the gods. And so he is trying to raise the biggest, best army of men that he can in his hall Valhall, and that the only way for men to go to that hall is to die in battle, preferably at the prime of their fighting age. So he does give weapons, for example. He gives Sigmundur and the saga of the Volsungs a sword, and later orchestrates it so that his son Sigurdur gets it. But the reason that he's giving those men gifts is so that he can later claim them for his army in Valhall and not lose out on having these excellent warriors there fighting along his side. Now, Odin does have an association with the holiday Yule. Yule being the pre-Christian version of the winter solstice holiday celebrated in Scandinavia. And of course, that name is still applied to the winter solstice holiday, Christmas, in the modern Scandinavian languages today, where you wish someone a god jul, right? But it doesn't mean the pagan holiday anymore. It means Christmas or whatever derivative from that in largely post-Christian Scandinavian Scandinavia is today. The association of Odin with Yule comes chiefly from his name Yulenir. Now, Odin has more than 80 names preserved in our Old Norse sources, and Yulenir is only one of them. This name contains the root Yule for the holiday, together with Nir, which we see sometimes used as an agentive subject. It's almost like he is the Yuler, right, or Christmaser, if you want to kind of Christianize it a little bit. He is somehow associated with the celebration of this holiday, presumably, is what this name means. Now, we know that toasts to the gods were drunk on Yule, as I've discussed in my video about the holiday Yule that I'll link in a card top right on YouTube in 2020. I've got this chipmunk that keeps running up to me, looking at me really curiously, if you're wondering why I look to the side and seem distracted for every few moments here. That name, Yulenir, is old. It appears in a skaldic poem of great age, Hologital, from the late 900s. So the name is certainly certifiable as a legitimate pre-Christian name for him. But he has so many names, and the existence of this one really doesn't necessarily suggest that he is, frickin' Santa Claus. Right? If toasts are drunk to the gods on the holiday Yule, maybe this name simply has something to do with the fact that he is the chief of the gods that is toasted at Yule, as we read about in, for example, Snorri Sturluson's saga of King Haakon the Good and his collection of sagas about the Norwegian kings called Heimskringla. So overall, again, I don't really know where this meme about Santa Claus being Odin comes from. It could have to do with someone noticing a certain similarity between the wild hunt, with which Odin is legitimately anciently associated, and Santa Claus riding through the night at Yule or Christmas. But the wild hunt is a frightening presence, right? It's not like Santa Claus, who brings you presents and perhaps rides a bronco on your roof, alluding to a ridiculous ditty that I wrote a couple years ago. He's, Odin and the wild hunt are presences that represent some of the terror of winter. Santa Claus represents the generosity of spirit that we certainly hope that we receive whatever holiday we celebrate, as the days get a little bit longer again on the flip side of the winter solstice. Beautiful Colorado, and wish you